So, The Flash came back with a new episode called King Shark versus Gorilla Grodd. And it's exactly as the title describes it. Yes, the giant shark man fought with the mind-controlling telepathic gorilla. We see the battle already underway as it opens, but then we get the whole rest of the show done in flashback as it is 12 hours earlier. But anyway, the premise carries on with what Cisco had been working on, which was a cure for the meta powers that people have. And he's got it. So they decide, we need a volunteer to test it to see if it'll work, which I would have thought with the way Cisco had been acting that he would have stepped up for it. But apparently, I guess he changed his mind. I don't know. But anyway, they realize, or the Flash says, hey, I think I know somebody who would want it. And of course, they're referring to King Shark, who used to be a human being, but now he's turned into a shark monster. Well, they go out to talk to him and offer him the deal. And while he's been observed by this marine biologist lady, they've developed a relationship. Yes, it's unspoken, but it's clearly there. Yeah. This brings in some funny moments and stuff that's typical of the show. But as King Shark arrives in front of the group, and seems to be interested in the possible experiment here, suddenly everything goes wrong, and he becomes wild and starts fighting around. And so Flash and Cisco have to try to capture King Shark. And King Shark ends up grabbing Cisco, and looks like he's about to bite his head off. And the Flash, not knowing what else to do, jumps on top of King Shark and injects him with the meta-human cure. And lo and behold, it works. King Shark turns back into his old self. And, everything's wonderful. Well, Cisco later confronts Barry about this and says, hey, man, we swore we wouldn't force this on anybody. We wouldn't turn it into a weapon. And we would only use it if someone asked for it. Well, King Shark seemed pretty interested in it, and it was pretty understandable that he would want it. And he seemed pretty happy once they saw him return back to normal and all that back at the Star Labs. So this was a bit of a forced idiot sort of ethic within the show. And I was like, oh, God, this is terrible. But then we learned that, yes, King Shark was being manipulated by Gorilla Grodd. And so he was all behind it, and Gorilla Grodd was also influencing the emotions of the Starlab crew. So much so, at one point, they literally turn on Barry and attack him because Grodd wanted this device that King Shark had been using with his marine biologist girlfriend to communicate to one another. And Grodd wanted it to enhance his own abilities in order to take over the entire human population of the city. Yes. So that was his plot. But the thing about it was that, so Grodd was influencing their minds, and they're upset about their promise to not use the cure as a weapon. And even though that kind of was the intention for developing it in order to deal with Cicada and all that. But anyway, but no, it wasn't just Grodd making that stupid idea happen. I mean, the situation was Cisco was going to die. The Flash had no other option here, and he used it to save Cisco's life. And to keep King Shark from murdering somebody, And so to attack him and to even be upset with him is just ridiculous. I mean, sure, you hold to the idea that you wouldn't force it on anybody, but here you had a guy who probably wanted it and did. They talked to him. He was happy to have it. Sadly, though, he had to go back to being King Shark because Grodd was continuing on with his plans to take over the city. and he pretty much was on his way there. And the Flash and Excess go to face him, but they get their asses handed to them. And so the only one powerful enough to take on Grodd is, of course, King Shark. So he agrees to go back to his King Shark form, but the problem is, the cure only works once. They couldn't get him back afterwards. So he becomes King Shark and goes after Grodd. They fight, and they fight, and they fight. And actually, the fight's not bad. I mean, it's the 2 CGI characters and all that. And, of course, keep this at night so you can make use of shadow. And it works out okay. It's not bad. I actually liked it. And for a while, Grodd seems to get the upper hand. And then they realize, oh, if we had an electrical jolt, we could... Why it takes that long for the... Oh, yeah, we were always doing electricity. So, of course, the 2 Flashes, or Flash and his daughter, Excess, build up some electricity and jolt King Shark back from... He was hung upside down. That makes him paralyzed because of his sharpness or what have you. Anyway, that was your science lesson for this episode. And it works. He beats the crap out of... Grodd, and he takes the mental crown piece thing that he was using to amplify his powers, puts it back on his head so he can talk to his honey, and they're back together, sort of. He's back in his fish tank, and, well, she stares at him lovingly, and, well, hopefully that's really all there is to it. But, so meanwhile, the other thing of note was the return of Jesse Martin, who had to take a leave of absence from the show because he had suffered an injury, and apparently it hurt his back really bad, to where there was a couple of shows before he left to where he was always being shot sitting down. He's standing and walking around in some of these scenes, but for the most part, he's back sitting down. So I don't know, probably not back to full strength because he didn't do any of the action scenes, and he had a separate story where he's meeting with his daughter and they're talking, and she's concerned about being fearful about Cicada and all this sort of thing. So it takes her to go to a punching bag, and she punches the bag and all that. And, you know, it's all right and everything, but who cares? But it's Joe's back, and but he can't be utilized in the way he was before because I guess he's still got some recovery to do. But it was good to have him back. It's been a while since he's been there, and they kind of have to have an explanation for it. They gave the explanation that he was visiting Wally in Tibet, and so there's that. So, but it still seemed kind of strange. I would have thought they would have said he was on a case or something because he just had a new baby. So I don't think he would just, hey, I'm going to go to Tibet and hang out with Wally, you know, and his wife's like, what? You know, so, but of course it's, they had to ride around it because of the, unfortunate events that led to his injury. So there you go. But, so that was, of interest. But the main thing was it was a fun, okay episode, and it ties in with their, searching for the cure and why and all that, and they end with, we're going to offer it to Cicada, which, offer it, I mean, the guy is a serial killer at this point. If you have a chance to take away his power, you should use it. That's not a good ethic. It isn't, and that whole point that the show makes, it really sinks it. It could have been a pretty good show, but that really is bothersome to quite a bit. So, 3 stars, I guess. It's kind of big. It would have been a 4-star easily, just because of the humor and the fight. The fight was not, like I said, it's not, CGI on television isn't usually all that great, but they did a good job for what it was in this episode. So, but man, that business, it just this forced conflict between the friends type thing, and without thinking it through, I don't think. It just is a poor ethic that, you know, Barry shouldn't save his friends' lives. He shouldn't end this murderous villain. No, that's not good. That's not good. So there you go. The Flash. King Shark versus Gorilla Grodd. Thanks for watching and listening. Why not like and share? Sure. And for those of you who have subscribed, thanks. It's greatly appreciated. But hey, while you're here, why not check out that link description below? That'll take you to my many stores that have plenty of goodies for you.